Hello, I'm Arielle from the Inconspicuous Bear, and I'll be narrating the 10-man normal version of the Immerseus encounter in the Siege of Orgrimmar from a Guardian point of view. Immerseus is actually an incredibly simple encounter, and since it's the first boss in the Siege of Orgrimmar, that actually kind of makes sense. There's only one tank-specific mechanic you have to watch out for. Immerseus has an ability called Corrosive Blast, which will hit you for about 500,000 shadow damage, but also gives you a debuff, which causes you to take 300% additional damage from Corrosive Blast if it hits you again. Now, this means normally you'd probably bring 2 tanks for Immerseus, however, as a Guardian, and probably other tank classes as well, you can single tank Immerseus if your raised DPS is high enough that you don't ever get 3 Corrosive Blasts. You can take a second one with Survival Instincts just fine, but 3 is going to be too much for you to handle. Immerseus consists of 2 phases. The first phase is when he starts up as a big single entity. The second phase is when he kind of explodes into all these little puddles you see on the screen here. There's 2 different kinds of puddles, black puddles and blue puddles. Black puddles need to be damaged down, so that you kill them and prevent them from reforming into Immerseus, and blue puddles need to be healed up for the same reason. Now, since your off-healing is kind of meh, your best bet's going to be to control and just damage down the puddles as best as you can. For positioning on Immerseus, there's a couple of things you have to be careful of. The first is to make sure none of your raid members are behind you, because Corrosive Blast is actually a frontal cone attack, and it will hit anyone that's standing behind you as well as yourself. So, since other classes obviously or other specializations aren't going to be able to survive a Corrosive Blast, it's a good idea to make sure that nobody else is behind you. The second thing you can see on the screen right now is these little black puddles. Basically, they just form wherever you're standing every so often. I just move out of them. They're pretty simple. The third thing is the kind of wave that sweeps across the room that you just saw. I don't really know how that works, to be honest with you. I just kind of run into the middle and try not to get hit by it. I think you're actually supposed to be like run around in a circle, but I don't know. And the third thing is there's little swirly circles that go around him in melee range, which will knock you out and into the swirl if you get hit by one of them. For talents, I definitely recommend Wild Charge. It's very advantageous to be able to root and one of the black slimes in place while it's being killed by either you or someone else. For the tier 2 talents, it doesn't really matter, but you can't use Scenario Ward or Renewal on any of the ads, so you might as well just take your Sarah's Gift, since the boss doesn't really do any crazy damage himself. For tier 3, definitely go with Typhoon or Mass Entanglement. Mass Entanglement allows you to root a group of ads in place until everyone's able to get back to kill them, and Typhoon's useful for knocking them back. For tier 4, Soul of the Forest or Incarnation. Doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. Just pick whatever you prefer. For tier 5, definitely go for Bash. For the same reason you pick Wild Charge. Immobilizing an ad for a short period of time is very advantageous. And for tier 6, go with Dream of Cenarius. You can't really make very good use of Heart of the Wild, and Nature's Vigil doesn't hit the ads, and there's like next to no healing to do in the main phase anyway, so there's no point in picking that talent. As for any tips or tricks to this encounter, the only thing I can really suggest is to try and go into phase 2 with the Dream of Cenarius proc up. That way you can dump a healing touch into one of the blue ads and try and heal it up to full with a single crit healing touch. Otherwise, just kind of repetitive. You kill the black ads, kill the boss, kill the black ads, kill the boss, and eventually, once his energy bar reaches 0, you will defeat him. As for the legendary items, you can definitely use both the DPS Legendary Metagem and the DPS Cloak for Immerseus. He doesn't hit hard at all, and there's really no reason to have the tank proc. And while the DPS items aren't really going to benefit you that much, they're better than no benefit, which is what you get from the tank items. One thing to remember is that while this is technically the 10-man normal version of the encounter, the same mechanics apply to both 25 and flex versions, so you can totally take everything you've learned here and apply it to whatever raid size or group that you're doing. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comments below, or you can always subscribe to the channel for future guide updates.
Walls.
Is he dead yet?
I know, right?
You should be up for this one. You can only get 25 each time. So it'd be
Oh,
more.
great! Yay!
Bah. Sucks.
It's more over here.
This fight's really fucking boring. Just get put it
Yep.
out there.
Yep.
Really? I couldn't help.
Well, the worst part is like, you one or two shot the ads, and then it's like, oh, okay. Now what?
I don't touch the Legend Cloak procs and just annihilates. There it goes.
Alright.
I told you it'd be this one.
Apparently he will die.
You don't
right?
listen to
Press
me.
start.